I think it's time to just accept the fact that Australians are online. Nielsen tells us that the average Australian spends 16 hours a week online. Nielsen also tells us that people who are online do so with the TV. 60% of people who have access to the internet also have access to the TV. And if your lounge room is anything like mine, there's a laptop sort of 2 steps away from the television. So if I'm inspired by something I've seen on TV, gee, where can I get that? Are they open on Saturday morning? Can I park near them? Bang, I go online to have a look. And we see this tremendous interplay then between media channels. When we asked people, those people who've done their research online, what else did you use? You'll see it's a whole mixed question. People are inspired by TV ads. They do listen to the radio. They do listen to catalogues. But in category after category, the internet is the medium of choice when it comes to getting more information. When, as David says, they're starting their customer decision journey, when they're starting that active consideration phase, people want to get that information from the internet. Okay, they're not spending 16 hours a week with Yellow Pages. They're spending 16 hours a week online. How do you talk to them when they're spending that time there? Now, what we see at Google, we get those 12 million Australians searching with us. That's pretty much everybody in Australia online. We get to see what they're searching for. And in category after category, I've just pulled out some key retail categories here, we get category growth. This is the same number of people, because we're not getting that many more Australians born every day. It's the same number of people, but searching much more frequently. Sam is my colleague here at Google, and he's going to have to close his ears because I'm not allowed to tell you this information officially. In April of this year, which was the last time that David asked me to come and talk to some of his clients, we had 1.2 billion searches on Google Australia. 1.2 billion in the month of April. Now, I pulled these numbers for October, and we had 1.6 billion searches. So in the time from April to October, we've added 400 million searches. How are you talking to those people? How has your strategy changed over the last 6 months to get to those people? Now that happens in category after category. These are the last 5 months of search query growth by category. I won't go through the detail there, but in every one of these categories, in beauty and personal care, in food and drink, home improvements, apparel, we're getting upwards of 50% growth year on year. Now, when we projected some numbers at Christmas time, in June, we projected what we thought might happen this Christmas. So our estimates there were that at that point in June, we had about 20 to 30% growth in most of these retail categories, and something like clothing. And so we estimated there'd be about 130 million searches around clothing. Now, we're enjoying 50% growth in clothing at the moment. We're going to get a number much bigger than that 130 million. So again, if you're selling clothing, how are you going to talk to those 130 million searches? Now, there's no question you don't want to talk to all of them, because not everybody's looking for the stuff that you sell. But you certainly want to talk to some of them. And that's why I really encourage you to work with the team at DT Digital to make sure that you can come up in search results. And that's a great result for Maya there with men's suiting, being able to come up very high in that consideration set. So if someone's looking for that, bang, Maya is there and saying, remember me, you love us, come and talk to us, we're your friend. And that's the opportunity that you have and the challenge that you need to face up to. Now, you do need the help of people like DT Digital. You do need help because the dynamics of each category differ. I don't want to bore you here with details, but what I've got is the top queries in every category, and I get a report every week of the top 20,000 queries in each of the 800 categories we stock. I don't often read that report, but what I do... What I've got here, and we do take this to clients when they want this specific information, is help them understand how the categories differ. So let's compare the difference between that grey top line, which is the apparel category, and the blue bottom one, which is food and drink. And if you take that 10% mark, you can see that in the apparel category, if you drop down, you need about 200 words, keywords, to get to the top 10% of volume. Okay, so it's a very concentrated category. And in that category of apparel, it's words like dresses and fashion and shoes. It's really big generic terms that people search for first because the brands, there's so many different brands, so many different options that people choose generic items first. If you look at the food and drink category, however, and take that 10% line, drop down, you need over 1,000 words to get to that same 10% of volume. and that's because there's so many different food and drink choices. So you need to understand how the dynamics of these categories differ and where you want to play. Do you want to be up there saying every time someone searches for dress, I want to be there and remind them that I've got dresses? Or do you want to be very specific and very focused and say, look, every time someone looks for cocktail dress for after 5, that's the person I want to talk to because that's my range. So it's a choice you've got about where you play on this curve. So what's the opportunity then for brands online? I've talked a lot about how channels work together, this whole multi-channel idea. What we know is that people who are searching are inspired to do so by your existing media campaigns. So they're inspired by things they see on television. 37% of people who are doing a product search said that they were inspired to do that by the TV campaign they just saw. So remember those 60% of Australians who've got both the internet and the TV on? It's these guys. And you see this tremendous interplay between brand ideas on TV and then people searching for them online. And I'll show you a couple of tools that you can use to do that.